Chapter 1017. What a chapter. So much to talk about. Forget about introductions, let's just get right into it. Starting with the bombshell that was dropped at the end of the chapter. And of course, I'm talking about the reveal of Luffy's devil fruit. The Gomu Gomu no Mi being a special type of devil fruit. Now, there's a lot of confusion about this. And that confusion mostly being, why is this the first we have heard of this? To be fair to those people that are having this type of questions, it kind of makes sense, right? Because if you look at it from the point of view of all the people Luffy has interacted with through the story and the many powerful foes he has fought against, not a single time have we heard of his devil fruit being a special type of devil fruit. Like I said, this is a sound argument to have, and I'm gonna try to explain why the devil fruit being a secret makes sense. So, the Gomu Gomu no Mi was being guarded by who was at the time part of CB9 working for the world government. Based on how the world government does things, and that being very secretive and a lot of stuff being basically kept a secret, we can assume that the Gomu Gomu no Mi was being kept a secret. So it's not entirely a foolish thing for us to believe that that is the main reason why many people had no clue of his specialty. And I believe Shanks was the one who stole the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Why do I say this, you may ask? Well, we know that Shanks has a connection with the world government. Whether he is a celestial dragon or not, you could say he is in the know with many things that a lot of people do not have knowledge of. So that is why I say Shanks was probably the one who stole it from who's who. But you can also say that Shanks stole it from someone else who had stolen the fruit from the world government. And again, that might make more sense why Shanks has this relationship with the world government. Okay, I know that was a lot of information overload. Let me try to break it down more easily. And let's have a recap real quick. So who's who was guarding the Gomu Gomu no Mi and told us that the Gomu Gomu no Mi is a special type of devil fruit and it was basically stolen. Now we can assume that Shanks was probably the one who stole it. Now even though Luffy has fought against very powerful enemies and is now basically considered to be the fifth Yonko of the sea, it's safe to say that he is very well known in the Bio world. And it's also safe to assume that people know about his devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi. But this is the first we have heard of this devil fruit of being a special type of devil fruit. It would make sense if Shanks was the one who stole it, because other than the world government, not a lot of people know about the specialness of this devil fruit, which would only add to the fact that Shanks is involved with the world government and has knowledge of things many people do not have knowledge of. There is a reason when he met with the Korosai, they mentioned if it wasn't because of who he is, they would not have met with him. And I bring all this up to tell you that it makes sense why no one knew about the specialness of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Anyway, I can talk about this legit for the whole video, right? And it just goes to show how much of a great chapter this was. Although we did not see Kaido versus Yamato or La and Kid versus Big Mom, it was still very impactful nonetheless. But for the sake of the video, let's talk about other things that took place of this chapter. Starting with Otamata. She has yet again proven herself to be a very powerful ally, overturning the dire situation once again. Although we didn't get an actual number of both sides, it is safe to assume that now the numbers have finally somewhat become much closer on each side. It's actually kind of crazy how things have progressed so fast within 2 chapters. And even CP0 mentioned this fact in the previous chapter, how this battle seems to constantly be changing, and that is exactly what is happening right now. The growth of Tama and Momo is both very amazing to see. These two, while being the youngest in this entire battle, have contributed to this battle a lot. After Tama tells everyone who ate her Kibidanko to help the Straw Hats and the Alliance, Queen has seen enough and decides to blast her down. And just when he's about to fire, we got my boy Sanji, who kicks him into absolute oblivion with his attack, Collier Strike. Queen is like, damn you, Judge son, leave me alone. And then we learn that Queen and Judge were part of basically a scientific group named MAD. M-A-D. What does that stand for? Obviously we have no clue, but we can assume that the other members include, obviously, other than Queen and Judge, Vegabond, maybe even Caesar Clown, right? Also, Queen is now in his hybrid form. The form itself leaves a lot to be desired. It's kind of funny how proud he is to display his hybrid form, and Sanji's like, okay, cool, bro. But based on what the beast fires in the area were saying, Queen is now going to be basically dangerous. And now let's move on to something that many people did not like, right? And that being, there is now a sense of being of some sort in which Zoro is going to be back to full health. The way it was explained was after it is given to Zoro, Zoro will basically be back to 100%. And then after the effects are over or like worn out, it can cause Zoro's pain to basically double. And if we learned anything with Zoro, it is that this dude's pain tolerance is through the roof, which basically means there's legit zero risks involved with Zoro at the moment. I mean, Zoro was gonna have to be back into the fight at some point, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I don't have that much of a problem with, you know, this concept, unlike other people. Like I said before, this was a very good chapter. We learned a lot of new information and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Next chapter, I think we have to see Yamato and Kaido. right? Also, Kid, Law versus Big Mom, and you know, like what's going on over there, right? And again, this review might kind of be late, but your boy works overnight shifts, hence why I'm kind of always kind of late with this chapter reviews. Ideally, if it was up to me, it would be up around 6 a.m. But I think it's kind of like a good thing that it takes me this kind of late to get the video up, as one, it lets me kind of cheat in a way. What I mean by that is I watch, you know, YouTubers like PDA Law or Mr. Morch, and they explain the chapters very, very well. And then I go back, reread before I finally start the process of recording. But yeah, man, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the chapter. Let me know what your thoughts of the chapter was down below in the comments. And also like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. With that said, I'll catch y'all next time.